Hi folks, I'm glad you're here. Thank you very much for joining me today. Here's an update about the fires going on there in Texas. Very suspicious. There is a video that's going viral on social media showing a laser there in Texas beaming down. Not sure where the area is. I also have another video from Florida from a Ring doorbell showing a laser being projected to the ground. But here's the update. I must warn you, there is some graphic images of the cattle that have been lost from the fire. The current update for the Smokehouse Creek fire is over 1,680,000 acres. It has combined with another fire front. Let's see, I don't know how much of it is supposedly contained. We also have the Grapevine Creek fire that is 34,882 acres, 0% contained. And then we got the Windy Deuce fire that is 144,206 acres, that is 20% contained. There's also fires in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Kansas. Now, the fire's up there on the border with Oklahoma. The Smokehouse fire is going into the area of Oklahoma, you can see here. We got the Sand Creek fire, which is 2,304,000. Yeah, I don't know if it's, 100% contained, it's saying. And then we got Slap Out fire, which is 70% contained. That is 26,048. Then we have the Cat's By fire, which is 90,570 acres, which is only 40% contained. As of Saturday morning, the Smokehouse Creek fire in the Texas Panhandle has burned more than 1 million acres, making it the largest fire on record in Texas. It is over 80 miles wide. The Texas A&M Forest Service says the fire in Hutchinson County has burned 1,075,000 acres in Texas and Oklahoma and is currently only 3% contained, with 150,000 acres of that in Texas. The Forest Service said the Smokehouse Creek fire has now burned into the 687 Reamer fire, which is also burning in the area. According to the latest update, it is now 2,000 acres and is only 10% contained. 2 women were confirmed killed by the fires this week, but with flames still menacing in a wide area, authorities have yet to thoroughly search for victims or tally the homes and other structures damaged or destroyed. 2 firefighters were injured battling the flames in Oklahoma. One suffered a heat-related injury, and the other was injured when the brush pumper he was riding in struck a tanker truck as the 2 were heading to fight the fire near Gage. 83-year-old Joyce Blankenship was found dead inside her home in Stinnett, 70 miles northeast of Amarillo. One of her sons, Paul Blankenship, tried to rush to her as soon as he learned through Facebook that the fire had jumped over the highway and had begun to engulf the area around her house, but the roads had already been closed. They were saying that the fires were moving at one point 1 acre per second. Family members say that Cindy Owens was the second death due to the wildfire. Ms. Owens, 44, died from burns after flames surrounded her company truck as she drove home to Amarillo from Oakland on Tuesday, her sister said. The fires got real close to her and were coming in fast. She jumped out of her truck because she was afraid it was going to explode on her. Her sister, Melissa Owen, said when she got out, the fire caught up to her and she was burned from head to toe. Ms. Owen said her sister was on a work assignment when she encountered the fire. What gets me is that the company knew and they still sent her on the road, Ms. Owen said. Her sister was taken to the hospital in Oklahoma and she died early Thursday. Sending prayers to those two families. Wildfires may have destroyed as many as 500 structures in Texas Panhandle. That's according to Governor Greg Abbott on Friday. He described how the largest blaze in the state history scorched everything in its path, leaving ashes in its wake. Texas officials warned that the threat was not over. High temperatures and strong winds forecast for today, Saturday, March 2nd. Elevated worries that fires in the Panhandle could spread beyond the 1,700 square miles, or over 1 million acres already devastated by the fast-moving flames. There is still no word yet for the cause of these fires, and it remains under investigation. I am very suspicious. I don't believe in coincidence. Do you? Myself, I think Texas is being targeted because of the recent fight over the border and illegal immigration. I also believe it is a fight on our food supply. There is so many similarities between this fire and the one that happened in Hawaii. In the hard-hit town of Stinnett, population roughly only 1,600 families who evacuated due to the Smokehouse Creek fire returned Thursday. They found a devastating scene: melted street signs, charred frames of cars and trucks. Homes were reduced to piles of ash and rubble. Texas is known as the nation's largest cattle producer. They hold over 85% of its herds in the Panhandle region alone. With 12 million cattle, as reported by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the losses are expected to be devastating for individual producers. You think of all the small family ranches. Yeah, they're going to be impacted even more. Texas Agricultural Commissioner Sid Miller estimates that the blaze have killed tens of thousands of heads of cattle. Many more cattle were injured and will have to be euthanized, he said. Yeah, they don't want us to eat beef. They want us to eat bugs, right? The destruction of grasslands for feeding and farm buildings will worsen the situation for Texas, officials said. Mr. Chisholm said it was hard to watch, whose ranch is just north of the town of Pampa. It was in a direct path of the largest fire. Nearly all of his 30,000-acre ranch was burned. On Facebook, his wife, Leah Chisholm, said she had driven by baby calves standing alone in the black, desolate pastures with dead cows scattered along the road. She added, "So many have lost so much," she said. JBS, a beef supplier, had lost over 6,000 cattle. Additionally, they are currently facing a lawsuit from the New York State Attorney General, Letitia James. The lawsuit accuses JBS of misleading the public regarding a pledge to reduce its climate pollution over the next decade. Yeah, coincidence that they lost over 6,000 head of cattle? I don't know, it just seems too convenient. Almost as if these fires were planned. Even those with cattle that did survive have been left scrambling for a place to send their herds so they can have food and water. One rancher that had 1,500 head of steer but now has no grass and no water and is in a desperate situation. He evidently is looking for a place to relocate his cattle and is using trucks to move them. He'll have to go out of state, possibly Kansas, Nebraska, or Wyoming. And that's expensive because they're going to have to pay for leasing land where they can feed and water their cattle. And it's not just that one cattle rancher, it's going to be all of them. Many of the cattle that are still alive but will have to be euthanized because their hooves are burned off. The teats of their udders are burned off. It's just a very sad, devastating situation. At Turkey Track Ranch, an 80,000 acre property in Stinnett, fire consumed 80% of the business's pastures and plains. While firefighters were able to save the homestead and some other buildings in the area, the ranch called the loss of livestock, crops, wildlife, and infrastructure unparalleled to their history. The fire also destroyed thousands of miles of fencing that enclosed the livestock. When the fences burned, livestock got out, so now they got horses and cattle just kind of roaming around, even in towns. One fire chief, Kidd, added that the hardest hit areas when it comes to populated areas included Fritch and Canadian. Chief Kidd said that 90% of Roberts County has been burned. Here's an article from last year, June 20th. It just shows you how they conspire to eliminate what we choose to eat. The National Advertising Review Board, the affiliate advertising body, recommended that JBS U.S. Holdings Incorporated discontinue certain claims relating to its goal of achieving net zero emissions by 2040. Well, that's a few years away, wouldn't you say? JBS is the second largest food company and the largest animal protein producer in the world. Its numerous retail brands included Swift, Pilgrim's Pride, and Sierra. So it's not just beef that they're going after. They expect them to have a footprint of 0 in 15 years. But it's also for pork, bacon, chicken wings, and steaks. Yeah, well, we know that so many chicken farms, commercial operations have some suspicious fires, don't we? Here's an example of chicken farms turning to bugs. According to Tyson, the investment in products will support the growth of insect ingredient industry. In time, the company hopes that insects will help create more efficient, sustainable proteins. Though the insect produced in the new factory will not be part of the human food for now. With ever-growing knowledge of the devastating environmental impacts of meat, Tyson is looking for ways to reduce its carbon footprint. Indeed, the meat giant already branches out into plant-based products, including a vegan burger, which it launched in 2021. While it may be true that it takes fewer resources to farm insects than cows or pigs, this does not mean that they are a suitable source of protein. While it may be true that it takes fewer resources to farm insects than cows or pigs, this does not mean that they are a sustainable source of protein, given their small size. Production comparable amounts of protein with insects would require farming enormous numbers of individuals. Scaling up insect production would therefore require industrialized farming techniques, such as mega farm facilities, that could cause the sector's footprint to soar. So more lies about eating insects compared to cows and pigs and chickens. I don't care what the government says, what kind of lies they try and push down our throat about inflation. Well, according to the Attorney General, Letitia James, she said that families continue to face the daily impacts of climate crisis. They're willing to spend more of their hard-earned money on products from brands that are better for the environment, James said in a statement. When companies falsely advertise their commitment to sustainability, they're misleading the consumers and endangering our planet, where their actual truth about raising insects on the environment, their footprint would actually be larger than cattle or chicken or pig producers. Control the food, you control the people. This actually comes from plantbasednews.org. Scaling up insect production would therefore require industrialized farming techniques such as mega farm facilities. This could cause the sector footprint to soar. So what are your thoughts? Put your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later. God bless y'all. Bye.